A Grand Design owner crawled under his 3-year-old trailer for a routine inspection and found catastrophic I-beam fractures just forward of the gusset plates. His $60,000 investment had turned into a structural disaster waiting to snap in half on the interstate. Here's the thing, this wasn't bad luck. The so-called lightweight revolution wasn't an engineering breakthrough. It was a corporate cost-cutting scheme wrapped in fuel economy marketing. When MBA graduates replaced structural engineers in the boardroom, they decided the laws of physics were negotiable. They were wrong. I'm going to show you exactly which engineering compromises are snapping frames in half, the material substitutions they're hiding in the fine print, and how to spot a structurally sound RV before you hand over your retirement savings. Stick around until the end. I'll reveal the one frame construction standard that actually survives real-world physics. Incomplete welds from the factory. Start with the most damning evidence. Brand new RV frames leaving the factory with critical structural welds that were never completed. Cross members that should carry thousands of pounds weren't welded to the frame rails. Spring hangers were just kind of welded on there vertically with zero structural penetration. These aren't isolated incidents. They're systematic failures driven by piece rate pay manufacturing systems that reward production speed over structural integrity. Workers get paid per unit completed and not per quality weld inspected. When you incentivize assembly line speed, you get frames held together by marketing promises and undersized welds. What does this mean for you? Your frame structural members aren't actually connected. They're just sitting next to each other, waiting for the first pothole to introduce them to physics. You paid for engineering, but you got a production line speed record and a future catastrophic failure. Frame cracking at spring hangers. The failure modes get worse when you look at where frames are actually breaking. I-beam fractures occur just forward of gusset plates above spring hangers, the exact stress concentration points where frames experience maximum repeated loading cycles. Every bump in the road cycles that stress. And cheaper steel with higher occlusion rates means microscopic failure points become macroscopic cracks within 3 to 5 years. That Grand Design 17M Key I mentioned earlier, it experienced catastrophic frame cracking after only 3 years. The repair required beveling out the cracks, 3-pass welding, and 6 feet of frame boxing to restore structural integrity. In plain English, the spot where your axle attaches to your frame is experiencing thousands of stress cycles, and they used steel that couldn't handle the repetition because it saved $11 per unit. Your frame has a built-in expiration date. It's just a question of whether it expires in your driveway or at highway. Speed. The half-ton towable deception. Now let's talk about the half-ton towable lie that's causing catastrophic tongue weight failures. Marketing departments advertise dry weight tongue loads of 400 pounds. But what they don't mention is that loading water, cargo, and propane balloons that tongue weight to 900 to 1,000 pounds. That exceeds your truck's payload capacity before you even leave the driveway. Travel trailers with 2,004 pounds of cargo capacity are designed rear heavy to manipulate dry weight specifications. Tongue weight should be 10 to 15% of total trailer weight, but manufacturers engineer around that physics requirement to claim towability. They're marketing a frame that meets legal towing limits only when completely empty. The moment you add camping supplies, you've overloaded the tongue and started the structural failure countdown. Half-ton towable is a physics lie wrapped in a marketing promise, and your frame is already failing. You just haven't noticed yet. Galvanic corrosion rust through. Here's where the engineering betrayal gets chemical. Steel frames rust from the inside out where aluminum components attach with steel fasteners. When aluminum meets steel in the presence of moisture, you create a galvanic cell, a battery that uses your frame as the anode. The steel corrodes at accelerated rates while engineers know this chemistry exists and accountants simply don't care. Your frame is being eaten alive by high school chemistry. The aluminum siding attached with steel screws is turning your structural steel into rust powder from the inside where you can't see it until catastrophic failure hits. They built a chemical reaction into your RV skeleton and called it lightweight engineering. Under-designed frames for weight savings. The root cause traces back to how frames get specified in the first place. RV manufacturers underspec frames to build bigger units while staying within legal, towing weight limits. The RV manufacturer designs the frame in-house and sends specifications to Lippert or BIL, and they specify the lighter the better because marketing departments want to claim half-ton towability. The chassis manufacturer builds exactly what was ordered, an under-engineered structural failure waiting to happen. Almost all current model year RV trailer frames come from Lippert and BAL, built to RV manufacturer specifications. The frame builder has no control over how that frame gets used or what structural demands it will actually face. Your RV's frame was designed by the same people who wrote the marketing brochure. They optimized for showroom appeal, not interstate survival. Lippert built what Thor ordered, and Thor ordered the cheapest frame that could support an empty RV on a showroom floor. Sound familiar? One viewer commented, "My brand new toy hauler's frame was already rusting before the first trip. Spring hangers looked like they were held on with hope." If you're tired of the RV industry treating structural engineering like a suggestion, hit subscribe. This gets worse. Frame flex beyond design tolerance. Some frame flex is normal. It's designed into the system. But when you exceed design tolerance because the frame is under-specified, that flex starts destroying connection points. The tongue box loses sidewall load sharing, concentrating stress at weld points until something snaps. Lippert's own engineering VP had to publicly explain that frame flex isn't the problem. It's flex beyond what the system was designed to handle. In other words, they built it to flex within limits, but RV manufacturers specified frames that exceed those limits when loaded. Your frame is bending more than it was designed to bend, and every mile on the road is fatiguing the metal at connection points. It's not if it fails, it's when. They sold you engineered flexibility, but you got uncontrolled deformation on an installment plan, gauge reduction, and material substitution. The material substitution revealed the core cost-cutting strategy. High-strength, low-alloy steels used in automotive manufacturing allow lightweighting while maintaining structural capacity, but RV manufacturers use cheaper alternatives and simply reduce gauge thickness to hit weight targets. The automotive industry proved you can reduce weight without sacrificing strength if you're willing to pay for proper materials. RV manufacturers chose the accountant's approach: thinner, cheaper steel. Your frame is made from thinner steel than it should be, and they didn't upgrade the material quality to compensate. They just made it thinner and hoped you wouldn't notice until the warranty expired. Weight reduction through material science is expensive. Weight reduction through gauge reduction is cheap. Structural integrity is optional. Manufacturing quality control collapse. The quality control collapse completes the picture of systematic failure. Thor, Forest River, and their subsidiaries prioritize production volume over inspection. And when workers are paid by piece rate while final inspections are treated as production bottlenecks, structural welds get skipped. Reddit communities document systematic quality failures, lack of attention to detail, horrible quality issues, and critical defects that factory quality control completely missed. Nobody inspected your RV's frame before it left the factory. The person who welded it was incentivized to move fast, not weld correctly, which means you're the quality control department. You don't find out until you're 50 miles down the interstate. You didn't buy an RV, you bought a production speed record with wheels. Warranty loopholes for frame failures. And when that frame inevitably fails, warranty exclusions classify structural frame damage as normal wear and tear, or road hazard damage, leaving owners facing repair bills exceeding $20,000 for frame boxing and rewelding. A grand design. Lawsuit alleges frames on 2020 through 2023. Reflection, influence, saltitude, and momentum models cannot endure typical RV usage, but warranty claims get routinely denied anyway. They built a frame they know will fail, then wrote the warranty to exclude the failure they engineered into it. You own the liability while they keep the profit. The warranty isn't a promise. It's a legal shield against the structural failures they designed into your investment. How to protect yourself. The laws of physics don't care about your marketing brochure. When you reduce frame gauge, substitute cheaper steel, skip structural welds, and overload tongue weight, the frame will fail. It's not a defect, it's predictable material science. You cannot cheat the laws of physics with a brochure. Here's how you protect yourself. Demand full steel frames with documented gauge specifications, not aluminum substitutions marketed as weight savings. Inspect all spring hanger welds and cross-member connections before purchase, and look for brands like Northwood and Arctic Fox that reinforce critical stress points instead of engineering them away. And if you're buying used, anything pre-2015 was built before the lightweight revolution destroyed structural standards. Don't let them sell you a structural disaster wrapped in lightweight marketing. Stop shopping like a victim and start thinking like an auditor. Subscribe, because the RV industry is counting on you not understanding physics.